Let's rank every single Premier League club's transfer window. I'm looking forward to this one. We'll do A star or A plus to F, basically, or A to F. Let's start off with Burnley. Bit of a weird one. I felt a lot of positivity. James Trafford, fantastic from the City Academy, had a great tournament with England under 21s, saved a crucial penalty.
Never played a game though, has he?
Never played in the Premier League. Still a fantastic keeper. Burge from Sheffield United. Apart from that, I think they're looking very thin on the ground. Haven't picked up many points at all.
In terms of their window though, for what they can do, it's a good window, isn't it?
It's more money we saw with Dyche.
It's very championship though, isn't it? It's like you're going to be good if you go down, you'll probably come straight back up again. But have you signed those players to really cement
that Nathan Redmond
came on against City. He came on against
Pep Guardiola was like loving him. Do you remember when Pep Guardiola got him at the end of a game against Southampton?
Yeah, we beat him last minute. But I think he went over to him at Turf Moor anyway at the start of the season.
Did he?
Yeah, quite interesting.
Okay.
Should we just give that a C? Seems fair to me.
C seems fair to me.
Who did they lose? They lost Barnes and Weghorst. So yeah, I mean maybe that's a B. They got rid of Weghorst.
It's an A star, mate. An A star. Okay, so let's move on to Luton Town. I like Chong. I really do. Ross Barkley has come in as well. It's not enough to keep them in the league, in my opinion.
It's a good signing for them, though. Tim Krul, in terms of the goalkeeper. And they brought in a young man from Manchester United in terms of Ted Mengi, who was massively rated. He had a few big injuries at Manchester United. We were all thinking maybe he'd get an opportunity there. His injuries haven't helped. If he can get a run this season without breaking down in terms of injury, when Luton get relegated, I think a Premier League team will get him. You know what I mean? When they go down. Ross Barkley, for me, I can't. They got Marvellous Nakamba, is it? Is it from Villa?
Lokonga is probably the biggest name they've signed in terms of, Arsenal fans would say he had a big ceiling a couple of years ago.
They liked
Kabore from Man City Academy as well. It's not enough.
22 million quid.
I like the outlay in terms of for what they've done for the last 6 years as a club. They keep getting promoted.
Do you think Luton have gone the right way, though, in that?
Yeah.
They've not overdone it. Because if they go down, you'll be in trouble if you overdo it.
Pocket a bit of the change, get a nice new stand in the stadium. Go in.
And
what
also,
will you rank it?
They're hoping, aren't they? They're hoping to stay up in the old-fashioned way. 2 up front, crazy gang.
Nick it a little
crazy
bit.
gang.
Ross Barkley against West Ham, doing a little madness. Give it a C.
C.
We're just giving C because we're sitting on the fence, lads. I'm giving C for actual reasons here. Everton got Beto coming in. Dan Juma on loan after he rejected them. Harrison, it's embarrassing, isn't it? These lot are getting relegated quickly. You say bingo. Honestly, they're shocking.
Like, I find Everton, I feel so sorry for them. It's such a big club with such good support.
This video is brought to you by Super 6. You get the chance to win £250,000. All you have to do is get a few football scores correct. I got it bang on this week. Forest 1, Chelsea 0. It's an easy game, lads. If you win our mini league, it's Club 23 on the Super 6 app. You get the chance to win 100 quid at classicfootballshirts.co.uk. It's a beautiful, beautiful deal. Check it out. Link in the description down below.
This is a joke.
From early impressions of Beto, though, is that he is a handful.
Definitely,
He scored a goal in their cup game early on. I know the opposition wasn't the most to write home about. But in that game, was it against Sheffield United, the 2-2 draw?
Yeah.
When you looked at his movement, he was constantly harrying the Sheffield United centre-back lines. Could have had a few goals himself. He was bringing others into play. So out of all the strikers they've actually signed, Beto looks like someone that could be a threat for them when DCL ain't.
We've heard it all before, haven't we? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing this so many times with Everton. They've signed Rodriguez. They've signed Moises Keane. They've signed whoever.
Yeah, but I remember a lot of excitement, even Sigurdsson and all that. And I think the way Adam just explained that was apt. It was very neutral. I think, it could be okay. I think that's just where it is as a signing.
Like,
they
got rid of Morpie, which I think is huge because he's useless.
Getting rid of Iwobi's bad news.
Oh, bad news.
Bad news. A good player for
Also, they lost money on him. He went there. He was pretty good. They lost money on him. Didn't they sign him for 40 million?
He did.
They sold him for 22
I didn't even
million.
think about that.
How have they? And you know what? Arsenal probably had a sell on in that.
Yeah.
So
Arsenal think about the money sloshing about football now at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's worth 22 million.
That's basically free in today's market.
Yeah, man.
Chelsea were signing for 150 million quid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is truly ridiculous. But I'm probably going to give Everton a C.
No. No.
It's an E for me.
No, it's
E for Everton.
It's not as bad as
Come on.
It is.
You know what? If you're Everton, yeah.
What world are you
No,
living
listen
in?
to this. This is Everton's scenario. We just nearly got relegated. Everyone thinks we're about to get relegated and it's just a matter of time. We've got a big boy, £1 billion new stadium, whatever it is, coming in soon.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a championship club when that happens? No.
No.
So you need to have a bigger, stronger window than what you've had, and they haven't done
I'll
it.
tell you now, Everton will be relegated playing Rotherham. It'd be
Ashley
like the
Young on
Ricoh
loan
Arena.
as well, they
It'd be,
brought.
it'd be like the
Ashley
Ricoh
Young,
Arena.
man, yeah.
Ashley Young on loan?
Yeah, terrible.
Free, sorry.
Sheffield United quickly. Archer from Aston Villa.
I like Harmer, you know.
Palmer from Coventry.
He looks good.
Good midfielder, but not enough again for me. James McAtee
I think
from
this is,
Man
I
City.
don't think this is bad, mate. For considering it's Sheffield United, they've got no money. Bringing in Cameron Archer is a statement.
Yeah.
James McAtee was brilliant for them last year.
Amazing, yeah.
I actually think that this is a decent window.
Even Traore's been
Archer
good
looked
since
all
the
right
start.
in that game against Everton as well.
Yeah.
Scored one, basically scored the other one that bounced off Pickford's head. And Hamer's scored a goal already in the Premier League, and he's looking like a...
Is it the best window out of the 3 promoted clubs then?
Considering the constraints on Sheffield
All
United, I'd
three,
say
yeah.
Burnley probably brought in better players. But considering the constraints on Sheffield United,
Yeah. I'll give it a B then.
You know, these last windows, though, it's ruthless, but you're only going to get judged on whether you stay up or
you
not.
stay up,
It's
yeah.
mad, innit? It's like, if you go down, no one gives a shit if Beto scored 10 goals or not and was a success because you went down, so it was a failure.
No,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I'll give it a B.
Bournemouth have had an interesting summer. I like the signing of Alex Scott. I thought that was a very shrewd one, considering so many different teams were interested in him from Bristol City. They brought in Tyler Adams as well, £26.9 million.
That's a fantastic
He
signing.
was linked. Who was he? He was on the verge of
Tyler Adams was at Chelsea. Mate, he done a medical and all that. You know when we thought that we were going to miss out on Moishe Caicedo?
You should have. You should have. You should have.
Justin Kluivert, another good signing.
I saw him play last
He's like
week.
a Europa League level player.
Oh God, no, he's not. He's a bench player for that. He's not. He's not good enough for me,
Danny
in my
Aaron.
opinion.
Max Aarons, I
Danny
think
Aaron's.
£8 million. I think that's a
Alex
shrewd one.
Scott is a he'll be a generational talent. Honestly, at that level, he'll play for Spurs or one of the big
Sinistera?
clubs.
I actually think Bournemouth's business is pretty
Sinistera's
good.
good, yeah. From,
I think that's a genuine B, you know,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Bournemouth's business.
B for-
Tyler Adams, Alex Scott, pretty good, you know, midfielders you're bringing in there. Justin Kluivert, all right. Max Aarons, a very good fullback, I think.
127 million they've spent.
That's a lot, isn't it?
A lot of money.
Bournemouth.
We're talking about them as if it's nothing. 127 mil for them.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Fucking crazy, man.
Do you know,
What world are we living
do you
in?
know when I noticed like just the spend, the power of the spend? Nottingham Forest, I know they just beat Chelsea, but they could go down this year, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They've gone over to PSV and like poached one of their best players. You're like,
40 mil. and all
hang on a minute, PSV are in the Champions League.
that.
Moving on to Wolves, they brought in Cunha for £40 million, Bellegarde for 15, Bueno, I love a Kinder Bueno, for 12 million. Expensive on that though. Traore for 11, and out goes Nunes, Neves, Collins, Cody, Jimenez,
Bad.
Adama Traore left as well, right? There's a whole list of players.
Bad window, I think.
Terrible.
They've lost a lot of their good players. Like Neves was such a guarantee for them, wasn't he? Like Jimenez, you know, at one point, was brilliant for them. Matinho's obviously gone. Neves has gone. Nunes has now gone.
It was a terrible window before they lost Nunes to City,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And then they went and lost.
I don't get why they broke even on him. Surely he's had one good season. How is City able to get him for such a cheap price?
I imagine
They
he's
basically
desperate to
broke
go.
even. In today's market, they've lost money on him because of inflation and stuff like that. That's crazy. They're in a world of pain, Wolves. We'll give it a D.
Do you think Gary O'Neill can do something
Yeah.
despite...
He's the perfect man for it.
Yeah, I
in
think he
emergency situation vibes, like Bournemouth last season.
Yeah, so we were saying they've not improved.
Yeah. Is that
No.
a D?
D.
Did we rate the previous one?
Yeah, I said B.
Lots of B's and C's.
Bournemouth, it was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, B for Bournemouth.
Newcastle brought in Tonali for 55 million. Barnes, Hall, Livramento spent close to 200 million pounds.
Good
Got rid
window.
of Saint Maximin and Wood for around 40 million.
There's one
combined.
glaring error that you know if we judge it just on the players that they've brought in, I think it's a good window. But they didn't bring in a centre half, Newcastle. And when you're looking at the players that joined them, it's all very well to go, you know, Tonali's a great signings and Harvey Barnes a brilliant player and Hall has the, you know, in terms of a ceiling, goes right to the sky. But the position where they desperately needed reinforcements was centre half. And they didn't bring any in.
Do you think he's thinking Byrne can play there, Shaw can play that to my level that I want, and
Botman and Shaw can.
Yeah, not Dan Burn. You don't think
no.
You don't think he can?
But Dan Burn can't.
No.
And if you don't believe me, ask Darwin Núñez. Right, he can't. And Lascelles is not.
It's championship.
Yeah. Lascelles isn't the answer ever. So they've actually got themselves into a situation where they only have 2 centre halves that are capable of playing to the requisite standard.
They spent 200 million quid in a couple of years ago. They're in a relegation battle, so their revenue's really poor. They haven't won the cup for decades, so they've got no income really. I'm talking FFP. So I can see why they didn't go. Look, I'm sure if they had unlimited.
No, but they did sign Lewis Hall. Mate. They didn't need Lewis Hall.
Yeah, but Lewis Hall is. I think if Lewis Hall becomes available, you sign him versus. Do you know what I mean? I think you just sign. I think you have to just go and get.
No, but the point I'm probably inarticulately trying to make, but what I'm trying to say is, you don't need Lewis Hall today. Today, you need a centre half. You're in the Champions League.
That's true.
So you have to sign.
Is that centre half? Maybe there were constraints to someone around that 30-40 million pound mark. Is there someone of that quality that you're talking about? I don't think there is. Well, it's a Gvardiol going from Leipzig,
just to
85 mil.
Just to explore it.
Yeah.
Because he's not a starter, their partnership is Botman and Shah. So you're looking for somebody to come in and be happy to sit on the bench and test those two. Harry Maguire?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I agree with you on that one.
You know?
Yeah, but
somebody like that.
Maybe their wage structure
with
doesn't allow
them
it.
being in the Champions League, could they look at what's going on at West Ham? Could they have maybe spoken to Kurt Zouma? You know, just somebody...
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really good shout.
Look, overall, I think they've bought in very good players, Newcastle. I'm not being sneery about the players that they've bought in. And they've made good money on the play. You know, making 15 million quid on Chris Wood, which was a total mistake, is also very impressive. But the obvious position where they needed to reinforce, they didn't.
Yeah, 100%.
And therefore, they get a C. What, you think is too stingy?
They've signed a generational talent from AC Milan for 55 million quid. Can't be a C, surely.
Okay, I'm happy to be overruled. I just think that they haven't replenished where they need to. But okay.
Yeah.
So you think a B?
I'll give them a B, but it's up to you.
B it is. Fulham.
Iwobi, Bassi, Castagna and Jimenez for 57.5 million. And they recoup most of that with 45 million in for Mitrovic. Is the loss of Mitrovic, or is it just basically too big of a loss to even, can they make that up with the signings that they made? Because Jimenez...
Are you a better squad? Here's a question, right? Are Fulham a better squad adding in Iwobi, Bassi, Castagna and Jimenez and losing Mitrovic? Overall, are they better?
When it happened, I said, these lot are going to get relegated. They've got no ambition. They should be keeping him, keeping Silva. They've done one half of that at least. You look at him in the Saudi Arabian League, he's already put on a load of weight. So if you don't want to be in the Premier League working hard,
volley, man.
Don't get me wrong, that's fair play. But if you don't want to be at Fulham working hard for Marcus Silva, then they've gained 1,000,000%. No one else is paying that money for Mitrovic in today's market in European football. Who's paying 45 mil for?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
But he's worth goals to them, and even if it's 10 Premier League goals,
yeah, but he started well last season, didn't he?
But he still scored the goals.
If Iwobi picks up 6 this season, and then you know what I mean,
That's
a lot of goals, mate.
Yeah, Iwobi's got 6 or 7.
Well, the fact that you've just gone a striker or an attacker that was turned into a midfielder in Iwobi could get 6. Jimenez, who is their striker, will get 4. That means they've got
Jimenez might not get any, by the way.
Yeah.
Jimenez literally...
They got a kid off their books who can get sent off, has got a bit of a reputation, and he started well last season, but back in the last season he wasn't banging goals.
I just think it's a bad window, mate. I think losing Mitrovic... Mitrovic was their threat. Everything that you were scared of was Mitrovic, wasn't it? You know, it's all very well talking about maybe Willian or whatever, but it was Mitrovic.
I do like Marco Silva, though. And
Marco Silva's wicked.
I do think Fulham could continue to be as good of a team, but we're strictly judging the players in and out here, aren't we?
Yeah. I think C.
We haven't talked about Paulinho going to Bayern Munich and Fulham rejecting Bayern last minute.
Is that holding on to him? Does that
that
window into a
The fact they wound up Bayern Munich, that guy went viral on Twitter for slagging off Fulham. Do you see that?
Yeah.
That's an A star for me. I can't stand Bayern Munich.
Why can't you stand Bayern Munich?
I just don't like him, mate.
Crystal Palace, they've brought in Francat for 20 million. Manchester United's Dean Henderson for 17.5. Rob Holding for 1.
1?
No, it's
1
4.
million.
I thought it was 4.
And Lerma for 3. Out goes Zaha. By the way, the fact that they've lost Zaha for 3 is mental. I know why they have, but the fact that they let it come to that is mental. Milivojevic and Gaeta have all left. Did I say that right?
Yeah, give or take.
He got there in the end.
Yeah, no, I know who you mean.
I think Rob Holding, he's 27 years old, so he's still got so much time. I think he's a Gary Cahill going to Palace kind of transfer. It's a really good centre-back signing for Roy Hodgson. Perfect signing. It's one of the signs of the window, honestly. To get that from Arsenal,
I can't believe that Arsenal let him go that cheap.
maybe it was a kind of goodwill thing. Just let him get.
Doesn't make any
minutes.
sense. He's obviously not a £4 million player.
Well, it's crazy.
Like he's obviously like
Probably
whatever you
20
think of
mil,
Holding,
15.
whatever you think of his limitations. He's, you know, we were talking about Newcastle, just another centre half. Holding, he's not a starter.
Yeah. Or his partner Mark Gahey. You know, Gahey Rob Holding partnership is one of the best in the league. I'm sorry, it is. Like,
It's a good point.
outside the top 6, it's right up there.
Possibly, yeah.
Right up there. For what they do,
Dean Henderson behind them as well.
Dean
If he rediscovers his form of Sheffield United,
if he can oust Sam Johnson.
It's not a bad window, is it, for Palace?
Lerma as well, fantastic last season.
I think as well as a team they're pretty good. And I never thought I'd see a day where Zaha leaves and you go, they're still threats. Because they used to just be that one-dimensional team.
Yeah.
It was just all about Zaha. Let's keep a clean sheet. Zaha will win us a penalty or something. I think their team has actually improved. We'll go for a B.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Actually.
Palace, is that fair?
Oh God,
Oh,
we're doing
Jesus.
Chelsea.
How long we got, lads?
Do a special
See you
episode.
at Christmas.
Do a special episode. Special Chelsea
50
episode.
transfers on this list.
Mate, I don't know where to start. but I
By the
can
way,
just
we're
tell
talking
you.
about Chelsea. For us to list all of their players that they've brought in is mental.
Should we just do 3? I'll do one.
Can I pick them? Can I pick the 3?
Go.
Okay, I'm going to make this as good as possible, right?
No.
Nkunku has come in. Palmer
Oh, God.
has come in. And Lavia at 53 million. They're the 3 that I'm putting on the table. And then we've got rid of Havertz, Mendy, 17 million, by the way, for Mendy, and Pulisic for 18 million.
Yeah, I mean, the standout for me, Cole Palmer, makes no sense. I really think he's a fantastic talent, but 42 million. He's barely kicked a ball in the Premier League.
Yeah, but we were
Like,
just
I mean,
talking about Lewis Hall and you thought it was good spend.
I think he's played more football consistently in the
Lewis
last
Hall's
year.
played 9 games, mate.
All right, that's just my gauge of it then.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
wrong
Lewis
about
Hall's
that.
played 9.
Fine. Fair enough. And I love Cole Palmer, by the way. He's won everything you can as a kind of being in the squad, but 42 million quid. I think he needs to come in and start games and influence Chelsea straight away.
He did look good when he came on.
Yeah, he's a tiny footballer. He'll get you a goal.
Yeah.
Is he that level?
Do you know my worry with Palmer?
Who's Washington?
He is in a film called Flight and a film called American Gangster. Very good, very good.
He's cheap for 60.
He'd probably be better Denzel Washington than this kid. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, what we do is we just buy lots of kind of 15-year-old or 18-year-old Brazilians who nobody's ever seen play before, but get rid of proven young Premier League footballers.
What would you rate Chelsea's transfer window, considering
E.
the players that you brought in and let
What's
go?
a failure? It's so long since I did my GCSEs.
You is
Whatever the bottom rung of this ladder is. That's Chelsea. Like, it's all very well talking about Cole Palmer, and if you look at the amount of money that Chelsea have spent, you know what, to go through it properly, if you look at all of those players that have come in for all of that money, so Angelo for 15 million or Caicedo for 115 million, whatever scale you want to put on this, Palmer for 42 is probably one of the better transfers for the better amount of money. Let's remember that Chelsea didn't even want Palmer. We didn't. We wanted Elise from Palace, and Chelsea made a pig's ear of it, and Palace were going to report us. And then we wanted the boy out of Arsenal, Emil Smith-Rowe.
Right.
Ahead of Palmer.
Yeah.
And Chelsea then tried to pretend that we didn't want Smith-Rowe. But I know for a fact we did. Don't ever believe
And he's
anyone
one of
that
them,
says
by
that
the
we
way, Palmer. If City would never have wanted to sell him in a million years if he was the right guy. Trust me. So the fact we just sold him like that quick, get him out the books.
42.5 million profit on a player.
No, but it's a
That's what I'm saying. I think we'd have kept him, though.
it is a slight concern that City want to sell him, but then Chelsea and City aren't in the same league anymore. So it doesn't, not being good enough for City, and maybe you could argue Cole Palmer isn't good enough. The position opened up for Palmer when Riyad Mahrez went to Saudi. Cole Palmer's pathway to the first team was there. But Man City went off to Rennes, didn't they, to sign what's his name? And Palmer was allowed to leave, Doku.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, but not being good enough for City could still make you Chelsea's best player.
That's crazy saying that. And you're
It's
probably
true, right?
Yeah.
No, but Riyad Mahrez, if Riyad Mahrez had come to Chelsea, he'd be Chelsea's best player.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
In fact, Julian Alvarez doesn't get in the City team and is obviously Chelsea's best player.
That's true. Yeah.
So we're saying E. I don't know.
How can it be good? Tell me how it's good, mate, 'cause I don't know.
You got Caicedo, Lavia.
Mate, we spent
Caicedo.
£500 million. Of course we've
I
got,
know the prices on them are mental, but
but you have to factor
those
that
are
in.
two players. Yeah, you do, I guess. But those are two midfielders that were highly sought after, highly, fought after as well in the Premier League, and to get them at the club is massive.
Do you think this is a problem? No, but look at come on, mate. Let's look at the story for Caicedo. So you say, to get them is good. Chelsea had the opportunity to sign Caicedo at any point over the summer. Brighton told Chelsea that we want 100 million. Chelsea, Egg Barley went, no, we're not paying 100 million. We're going to win this battle. Paid 115. That's what happened. Like, we could have signed him at any point.
Like United with Fellaini.
We could have signed him at any point for 100. We had to then go back for 115. But can I just say, lads, I've just sort of thought about this. Do you think this is an issue? Kai Havertz has left and gone to Arsenal. Mateo Kovacic has left and gone to Manchester City. Mason Mount has left and gone to Manchester United. And Lewis Hall has left and gone to Newcastle United. What I've said there is 4 players have left Chelsea and have gone to a club in the Champions League. So way better than Chelsea. Is that a problem?
Well, strengthen everyone around you.
No, yeah, partly that, but also players are somehow deemed not good enough or surplus to requirements at Chelsea and allowed to leave. Not often for a lot of money. Mateo Kovacic, probably the jewel in the crown of those players, and he went for 25 million. Gone to Man City, and yet we've decided he can leave.
And also,
of course,
they charge you 20. You give them Kovacic 25 million, and you pay them 42.5 for Parma.
There you go. See what I mean?
You made a loss on Kovacic.
So are you coming around to my way of thinking on the U?
It's a bit like Dalboy, isn't it? Remember when he got A's?
Yeah.
But they stood for absent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's where Chelsea are right now.
Yeah,
You've got A's, but you're absent. Manchester United's window, the way it was done and the manner of it being done isn't amazing. But the players that we've brought in, Højlund, 64 plus 8, 72 million. Mount, 60 million. Onana, 47.5. Amrabat was on loan, but that's going to be a view to a permanent deal for around 20 million. Bayindia was nominal fee. Reguilon on loan. Evans free. And we got rid of Henderson, Ilanga, Fred, amongst many others who have left the club this summer.
Before we rank this, Adam, can I ask you a question? Please answer this as truthfully as possible. If we were having a conversation at the end of last season, so going into the summer, and I said 3 positions that you need to sign,
what would
those positions have been?
A midfielder,
yeah,
but more Amrabat style midfielder, maybe like a number,
like another Casemiro.
Someone that could play alongside Casemiro or replace Casemiro. A striker.
Yeah, so Højlund.
And a goalkeeper.
Okay, so you did what you wanted.
Yeah,
now apply it to the personnel. So Onana, you've got to be happy.
Onana I'm buzzing with.
Only 50 million quid as well.
Getting Amrabat and Mount in, I know we're 4 games into the league season. Everyone's really negative about United at the moment. But I think Amrabat and Mount will make a huge difference to our midfield. We don't have to play with McTominay and Fred and all these lot anymore. Højlund, big question mark, obviously. But when you look at, we were going for Harry Kane, was it?
Yeah.
I wanted Ivan Toney, was never going to happen because of the situation he's in. Harry Kane didn't happen because United were like, all right, this deal ain't going to happen with Spurs and Daniel Levy, let's go elsewhere. So if you would have said, we're not going to get Harry Kane, who do you want to go to? Højlund would have been in my list of 3, 4, 5 strikers. So I'm happy with that. And I'm also happy that we're getting someone that's got a higher ceiling. It's got that potential to get great. Because over the years, I think Zlatan was a success. But over the years, we've bought strikers like Zlatan, Alexis Sanchez,
Falcao.
Igalo came in on like strikers at the back end of their career, or I want to see us getting a striker that could potentially be here for 5-10 years. Who knows? And Højlund could potentially be that man. So I think we got the right players in the end.
You didn't get the right players out though,
and we didn't get McTominay and Maguire out.
Yeah.
You get those 2 out. You get a different midfielder, maybe. You get another centre back, and you're not in this position where against Arsenal. Granted, you very rarely expect to lose 3 of your 4 centre backs. We lost Varane, lost Martinez, lost Lindelof. Now you've got to play Johnny Evans. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy, man.
It's like we never expected to be in that position. Whereas if Sal Maguire, you can suddenly bring in someone that you prefer. The outs: Henderson, Ilanga, Fred. I think Zidane, Iqbal also left, etc. I'd give our window, given the money we've spent, the players we've brought in, and taking into consideration the manner of it. We had to bring Amrabat on loan when we wanted to buy him.
Yeah,
I'd give it a C.
Oh wow! I thought you were going to go mad and be like an A- or something.
No,
it's better than a C.
It's the manner of it.
You filled every position you need. You've got some weird ownership thing going on.
Like they wanted, if it was Kane.
My view of Man United is their owners should be saying, we're going to get Osimhen. We're going to go and get
Kane.
Lewandowski 4 years ago. Whatever. In context of where United are with the Glazers, trying to sell the club this summer, it's better than a C, in my opinion. It's a B.
No, but that's when you take into consideration we've got fucking stupid owners that we don't want.
That's what I'm saying. I think
you know what I mean? Like, if we're taking into consideration everything like that, then I'll give Ten Hag an A star for last season. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
We start to then look at things very, very differently everywhere. But I agree with you.
It's around there somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, because they're holding us back massively.
Nottingham Forest.
I think Nottingham Forest have had a good one. Read the players out, Booth.
Yeah. Sangare, Alanga, Chris Woods come in. Hudson-Odoi, I think, is mad cheap. 3 million quid.
Get him playing well.
Bayern tried to sign him for 50.
If you get him to fulfil his potential, you've got a £70 million player on your hands.
Easily. And I like the interview that he gave about joining the club. He was really happy to, he's really gassed to have the opportunity in the Premier League. So I think it's a big one for him.
Is that a loan deal?
They did lose. Nah, 3 million.
3 mil permanent.
Permanent.
It's crazy what's happened.
Chelsea about 4 years ago.
60 off Bayern.
70 Bayern.
Yeah.
Under Sarri, 19.
They wanted to give him 200 grand a week, didn't they? They wanted to give him a mad contract.
They really believed in him.
The big one for Nottingham Forest fans listening is obviously Brennan Johnson. Helped them get promoted.
I
really
think,
excited young midfielder forward. He's gone to Spurs. That's a big miss.
I know Brennan Johnson was massive for them, but in Alanga and a Hudson-Odoi, you've not got worse.
No, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? You've brought in... Look, if Hudson-Odoi finds that form that made everyone think he would go to Bayern Munich, and Anthony Alanga's showing he's all right, he wasn't good enough for Manchester United and the pressures of the club.
But again,
he's a decent Premier League player.
Yeah. You can be Nottingham Forest best player.
I think they've got better.
Obviously, Hudson-Odoi had experience with Cooper for England. He actually brought that up in his interview joining Nottingham Forest as well. So that's a big one. I think the only thing, if you're a Forest fan, the feeling, the kind of emotional, with Johnson is there, and losing him to Spurs is a little bit unhappy. I'd probably give it a B for Forest.
Yeah, they had to. I think the Forest fans, though, are quite happy about him going to Tottenham, only because at one point they were looking like they were going to lose him to Brentford. And Forest fans were like, hold up, what?
Yeah.
We're not losing. Look,
They consider themselves equals to Brentford, don't they?
Better than Brentford, miles bigger.
When they're coming up from the Championship, they're a bigger club.
Forest fans think they're like the fifth biggest club.
Brentford, the bigger club.
Brentford can't be nicking Forest players.
No.
Whereas Tottenham, I think Forest fans make
a great signing. That Ibrahim Sangare, because he was linked with, before Caicedo's and the Lavies went to Chelsea. He was linked with a move to Manchester United a lot, Arsenal a lot. He's always been linked with those top bracket teams, never quite got the move there. And now he's moving to Nottingham Forest. I think he could be a really good signing that in a few years people are looking at the Ndidis and that. He went Leicester and did well. Potentially looking
I think they definitely stay up Forest, and that's the best thing you can say about it, isn't it? They're not in a relegation threat. They're not in a relegation battle at all.
Not after they beat you as well.
No, true.
That was a big win.
True. Thanks for getting that in. But yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Villa this summer, Diaby for £50 million. Pau Torres.
Money, isn't it? Lyrical blows.
30 million, Zaniolo on loan, Lenglet on loan, Tielemans on a free. Fantastic bit of business that.
Archer makes no sense to me.
Why?
Just losing Cameron, for 20 odd million quid for what?
Yeah, but Unai Emery's looked at him. I think he played pre-season. I think he had a few minutes at the start of the season. But either way, didn't fancy him.
How can you?
So I trust Unai Emery.
Yeah, I trust him. But by that logic, Booth, I trust Unai Emery as well.
Yeah,
but
I know what you mean.
My opinion on it,
of course,
Unai, I trust Emery. Emery's not made the wrong move, I'm sure. Just I wouldn't have made that move. I just think for 20 million quid, which in today's weird football world is totally insignificant. You've lost potential.
England.
I mean, I think they've got a buyback, haven't they?
I've not seen that. I might be wrong.
Must.
Someone's going to have to let me know. I have not. I would have thought. I would have clocked that. I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
Diaby looks like a fun player to watch.
God, lively.
Looks really
scored
really
already, didn't he?
Doesn't he scored, and he looks like someone that's taking the pressure a little bit off Watkins.
Yeah.
Good player. He whipped the ball around on his left foot. I thought,
and Torres, brilliant. And then you've got to remember, a few years ago, not that long ago at all, Yuri Tielemans was talking about, going to Arsenal. There was talk about going to Manchester United. And he's now gone to Villa. I don't know if he'll feel a little bit uninspired by that.
I think a bit like James Maddison, happy to get out of Leicester, join a happy, optimistic club. And if I play well at Villa, I'll go to United. If I play well at Spurs, I'll go to Man City. Maybe.
Would you rather join Ange Postecoglou at Spurs or Unai Emery at Villa?
Oh, Ange all day long, the way he's got him playing.
God, you really changed your tune, haven't you?
You really have.
Football changes,
Rory?
No, Villa.
I mean, it's 4 weeks.
Villa, mate. I think Emery's a better
Villa's
manager
a bigger club as well, isn't it?
Villa's a big... it's tight, but
Villa's big club.
Villa... Like Unai Emery's record in Europe, I just find mind-blowingly good. I just think it's exceptional what he's done.
I'd go Villa because
I can't
be able to
believe
live
you.
at home.
Mate, me and you were kindred spirits here. You've 4 games in, you've totally reworked your entire
Life
I
comes
like
at you
it, though.
quick, innit?
I like it.
4 weeks.
You know, every week change your mind.
That's not it's every 4 weeks, so we'll
right,
chat at the start of October.
Okay.
I'm a bit disappointed in you. I thought we were like bonding over
Yeah, but he's got them playing expansive football and winning football matches. I thought it would always be expansive. James Maddison would always play well, and they lose 4-0 to whoever, United or whatever it was, and they beat them. So fantastic.
It's all very well doing it now.
Plus, you're a midfielder. You've got to think about this. You're not thinking about it, lads. They're both midfielders. Tielemans wants to get on the ball, spray it around. So does Maddison. You don't want to be at Villa. 2 banks of 4 parking the bus. Not for me.
Brentford's window, Collins, Shada. You know what that reminds me of? You remember when
Your love is
Royal
real.
family? Forget it. I'll be here all day. Flecken, they brought in Morpie. That equals. That means your goal difference gets less, doesn't
Didn't
it?
he
when you
play
bring
there in
in
the
Morpie?
Championship?
No, but they survived. Yeah, he did.
And Raya on loan. That deal to send Raya on loan was a great one for Arsenal and a really weird one for
But at one
Brentford.
point he was
'Cause
going to
didn't they
Bayern as well.
Didn't they reject 30 million quid for him or something?
Something weird happened, that's for
And then
sure.
they let him go on loan.
It's not.
40
I
guaranteed.
don't think it's a great window for Brentford. I don't, but I always think they'll be fine because whatever's thrown at that club, they're always fine.
Thomas Frank's kind of the star there, but Collins a good centre back, obviously from Wolves.
But
Good signing.
if Morpie is your idea to get more goals
to
when
get
you got Tony,
But it's just to get you through
get
the
through 6
Tony
months.
he
gap.
is, but
innit?
he doesn't score enough goals. And you look at them; they drop more points.
But he's got a relationship with the
And
club.
Buemo looks good.
Yeah, you go.
Obviously, they never.
He needs goals though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good window for Brentford though. C.
Give it a C. Yeah.
What about Arsenal?
Arsenal have had a very good window, which has been hampered by the fact Timber's been injured. But they spent 205 million on Rice, Havertz, Timber, and Raya. It was a really good loan deal. And out has gone Balogun, Xhaka, Turner, Tierney, Holding, bringing in around £50 million.
Okay, this is an interesting one. People aren't going to like this.
What are we saying about Arsenal? Because my immediate reaction was one of the best windows in the league, edging towards a B. It would have been an A if maybe they brought in another centre back or, brought in someone in there to just shore things up.
Are
But
they a better team this year than they were last year?
See, after watching them beat Manchester United, granted they beat us, I feel they're not as good as they were last season.
They are.
What, they're a better team this year than last year? So
In terms of the looking at the squad list here,
No, forget that
just
How they play
overall the team. There's just the team that they had last year.
Yeah.
So Partey playing brilliantly well with Xhaka and Martin Odegaard. Is that better or worse than Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard?
But we've started the season. By the end of the season, it could be Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, like we all think it should be. And if that is the case,
but when they've had the
signing Rice alone,
they haven't played that.
No, signing Rice alone is amazing.
Exactly,
And
that's
especially
what I'm
beating
saying.
City to the signing. But the other business does matter, right?
Timber's fantastic. Raya is we've been saying it on the stream for years on the show. Yeah, Ramsdale's pony. He's terrible in my opinion. And Raya comes in for cheap as well. 40 million quid is not bad.
But it's a big £65 million elephant in the room.
Yeah, he's a big German elephant.
But mate, you've got to weigh it all in. So it's all very well talking about. Look, I'm the one who's been celebrating Declan Rice and his brilliance on this table for ages. I think he's a sensational footballer. I really do. Like top tier, elite. But he isn't the only signing, and I'm not convinced that. Look, Xhaka is a better player than Havertz in my opinion, particularly in that position. But anywhere on the pitch, I don't care where. Xhaka is a better player. So then it's the gap. It's how much do they improve? How much better are they?
Timber's an improvement on Tierney, let's just say, as a kind of obviously he's injured. It's hard.
Better
than Holding.
Yeah, Timber's a good signing. Yeah, better than Holding because
Ray is better than Ramsdale. So 3 out of 4 have been fantastic in my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Could they have got any more?
But they
Do you
could have
think they
not.
should have done a
I
bit
think
more business?
I think they potentially signed somebody to play in that midfield position. I think they needed to replace Xhaka with somebody who's capable of replacing Xhaka.
Moving on to, what did we rate him? I said a B.
B.
Liverpool, Szoboszlai, who scored a fantastic goal at the weekend. McAllister, Gravenberch, Endo for around £148 million, strictly buying centre midfielders. And they've lost Fabinho, Henderson, Firmino, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner, and Carvalho, who's gone out on loan. What are we saying about Liverpool's window?
I think it's been fantastic. I think they've negated the Salah interest from Saudi Arabia. That's the real
So far.
hurtful one. Yeah, I think that's done for me because Liverpool can't replace him if that happens. And then Szoboszlai is incredible. McAllister's a proven Premier League midfielder. Gravenberch, very, very talented, massive ceiling. And Endo just covers the ground. He'll do the hard work.
Do you know what, though, Booth? If you, again, just to play the same game that we played against Arsenal, if you analyse the Liverpool midfield, analyse the Liverpool players, are they better? So they don't have Jordan Henderson anymore, and we know how huge his contribution was to the club. They don't have Fabinho anymore, who is one of the best to do whatever he does. You know, he in terms of that specific skill, one of the best to have ever done it. Then you look at the other players that have gone as well. Roberto Firmino, exceptional. Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner. Overall, is that better or worse than Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch and Endo?
I think you're right in terms of a 1 year outlook, this season outlook. But even 18 months, 24 months, mate, Henderson's legs are gone.
As soon as you take it beyond one season. As soon as you take it beyond one season.
6 months, I think Henderson's legs are gone. I mean, McAllister against you lot at Stamford Bridge, he was covering not saying he did very well, but he covered all the ground. There's no way Henderson could have done that by himself. Gravenberch is fantastic. You know, Keita was shocking. Oxlade-Chamberlain, shocking. Milner was about 50 years old. You know, Carvalho didn't work, so they're trimming the dead wood. And they're bringing in quality. I mean, Szoboszlai, I love Szoboszlai, by the way. Fantastic player.
I just worry. Well, I don't worry because it's Liverpool. I don't worry about them at all. But I do think, whilst that McAllister, I think he'll be a great signing for their midfield. Whilst Gravenberch, I wanted him, I wouldn't have minded him at Manchester United, to be totally honest with you. And Szoboszlai can do it. You do worry whether they've replaced that Fabinho-shaped hole.
And just the leadership. You know, just replace it. It's all very well to talk about Henderson's legs being gone, but he would be vital to that team. The standards, Klopp, everything. So look, I think it's a good window for them. I just don't necessarily agree that it's as good as basically to replace that midfield. That's the midfield that saw them nearly win a quadruple, win European Cups, win the league. I don't think it's ever going to be good news.
But 2 years ago.
But overall, you are right. Look, in terms of where they are in 24 months, yeah, this is obviously a vast improvement. B.
Have we given any A's?
I don't think it's a B, you know.
Is it an A?
Because then it would be as good as, I don't think it's as good as Arsenal's.
Okay, it's a C then. It's a B minus then.
C+.
B minus?
B minus. B minus. That's fair.
Yeah.
No, it's not a B minus. C.
Okay, fine.
Brighton.
A.
How Pedro.
Just A.
Balaba.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the boy.
we don't
Just
even
A.
need the names, do we?
Just
We
A.
got
Ansu Fati.
Mate, they made 115
incredible, you know.
They made 115 million pounds on Caicedo. They made 150.
Round of applause. This is Wall
They made
Street.
150 million
Moneyball.
pounds on Caicedo and 23 million pounds on Sanchez.
They made 100 mil profit just for
It's
this.
Ocean's 11.
Mate, and then
honestly,
they've
it's George
signed-
Clooney walking out of the Vegas casino with all the money in his. Honestly, this is Ocean's 11. It's embarrassing. 150 million quid for that.
Yep. It's A. Everything they do is an A. They're the best run club in the world.
West Ham have brought in Kudus, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Mavropanos, and they've let go Rice, Gamaka and Vlasic. I've got to say, I think West Ham, considering the fact they went into this transfer window knowing Declan Rice was off, knowing he'd leave the club, whether it was for City, Arsenal, whoever, Chelsea, they knew he was leaving the club. I think they've done some very, very shrewd business. And I think at this moment in time, albeit very early, I criticise Buvey for going very early in terms of 4 weeks in. I know it's very early. I know we're only 4 weeks in. I think West Ham are a better team now than they were last season.
I think they are. Yeah.
What, a better
James
team
Ward-Prowse.
without Rice?
Yeah.
Because of the other players they've signed.
Well, are you-
Alvarez and Ward-Prowse. in that
Overall,
midfield
are you a
very
better team? No Declan Rice, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Kudus?
Yeah.
good. Yeah. They are. I think the balance is better. I think maybe when you have a big figure like Declan Rice, who's a big character, big personality, maybe some players kind of take for granted that he's going to do certain things and he's going to always be there doing that. And you'll get other players that will pick up the slack and become leaders in that squad. Are we all doing it?
I've got a bad back, lad, so you're doing it out of...
I think... I think when you lose a player of Rice's quality, they come around once in a generation for West Ham. I don't think it can ever be like a good window because you've lost...
I think it is.
But you've lost your diamond. haven't
Arsenal
you?
paid over the odds for him.
You've lost your diamond though. You've lost.
But what Ward-Prowse offers is control in midfield, whips things in. He's got goals and assists already, so it's just like...
Oh yeah, Ward-Prowse to Zuma or Regued is going to happen a lot this season.
That's unbelievable.
Going to happen a lot.
I think West
Alvarez,
Ham-
by the way. Oh, fantastic.
Okay. So what are we saying then? A B?
C plus
I was
C
gonna give them an
minus.
A. I think you're being nasty on them. Not A for me.
Hey, I
You
could.
can't be an A when you lose your best player.
Let's go B.
All right, B then.
B.
Tottenham, Brennan Johnson, James Maddison, Pedro Porro, Van de Ven, These are quality.
Yeah, but they've lost their best player again. They've lost their best player.
But Vicaria's looked decent as well in goal. Solomon linking up yesterday for Spurs. So,
But Kane was always going, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
but
Kane has to
it's still
go.
bad news when he goes. Like,
But then it's how you react.
No, but also he's been going for years and he didn't go.
So then they do it instantly. James Maddison comes in. He's been a revelation.
He had a very good 4 games, I agree.
I think James Maddison, as well as his personality will mean that he'll rise to the challenge of playing for that slightly bigger club than Leicester. Playing. I know they haven't got European football this year, but
Down about Tottenham, man. Well, both of you are pathetic.
I'm not.
Both of you are.
I just like good football. I like watching good football.
You're a pathetic man. You're a charlatan. You're a charlatan. Four games in, you're like, oh, Ange Ball. I heard you actually say that.
When did I say that? After laughing at
him.
for a point.
Be true. You're a disgrace, actually. You were correct before. Mate, it's going to go wrong for Tottenham. Do you know how I know that? Because it always goes wrong for Tottenham.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to win anything.
They've lost Harry Kane. They've lost their get-out-of-jail-free card. And at the moment, things are going well. Let's see how Tottenham cope when their backs are against the wall. Let's see how they cope when things aren't going.
They're not going to win anything. But they still play beautiful football, and that Maddison's been part of that.
I think there'll be a better team this season, although that's not because Kane's left. I think that's just because they've got a manager who will play attacking football. And it's more suited to the style of player that they have.
They've lost their best player, D.
It's not. I can't agree with that. Is my opinion on that. I don't think we'll all agree.
No, but we have to agree. So
my
D.
opinion.
Well, if you say D, I say A star, so it brings the average to what I actually think it should be.
Okay, B then. then we agree. Fine, B.
That's clever. That's
B.
clever.
Man City, I think it's the easiest one on the list. It's an A, easily.
It's not.
Don't forget, by the way, there's another factor no one talks about. We won a treble.
Keeping
That's
Bernardo
300 million quid of income.
Keeping Bernardo Silva is huge.
Bernardo Silva, yeah, and then you've got one of the most exciting young wingers in world football, a 2-time Champions League winner for 25 million quid. Nunes is, all right, debate, of course, but Gvardiol, one of the most exciting centre-backs in the world.
He won one at Real.
Yeah.
You've lost Riyad Mahrez and Ilkay Gundogan. I'm afraid that's not good news.
Well, Ilkay Gundogan, okay, that's the harsh one.
Mahrez for Doku, what's that?
It's depreciation.
It's not, because Mahrez is over the age of 30.
Gundogan for Kovacic.
I always think, by the way,
depreciation.
If a player wants to go to Saudi Arabia, they're already depreciating anyway because they don't want to be at the club. Mahrez could have stayed and fought for his place. He's under contract. You chose Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so
let him go then. He ain't got the mentality to play this season for Man City. He doesn't want to. Is that fair?
No, I don't think it.
He wants to go to a retirement community.
City will still win the league and challenge for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Of course they will.
No, but
Pep's the equaliser, but I don't think
love Mahrez, by the way, but as a reality, some players...
You can't call it a good window when you lose Mahrez and Gundogan.
Yeah. Especially Gundogan came up clutch for you guys so much this season.
Yeah. And
maybe more so than Haaland. You know, in those big games.
Yeah. If we get to an FA Cup final this season against, let's just say, Man United again, will Kovacic score that goal that Ilkay Gundogan did? No, or the two. No, of course not. But we might get there in a different kind of way.
Yeah, no, I think you'll still win the cup.
And Doku's a different kind of winger, and he's so young.
Mate,
and we don't have any pace
the brilliance of Mahrez here.
No, of course.
Mahrez is one of the best wingers that the league has ever seen, and he's just gone. Gundogan is one of the best midfielders that the league has ever seen.
But what about their ages then? At least allow exploration of the age. Mahrez is what, 32? Gundogan's 33.
Yeah, okay.
That's the only
so what are you suggesting here?
It's an A.
I'm not giving you an A.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm saying...
All right, we'll do what he did.
I'm going E, so we'll agree on a C.
Fair enough, lads.